Welcome. Today we should be looking at venous insufficiency. A venous insufficiency is a condition in which the veins of the lower limbs fail to return the blood effectively to the heart. This leads to an increased venous pressure or a venous hypertension and a blood stasis. It often arises from a valve dysfunction or an obstruction, and over time, this may cause a significant complications, for example, edema, venous stasis ulcers, and cellulitis. The management of venous insufficiency usually focuses on reducing the edema and promoting a venous return from the affected limb. The pathophysiology of venous insufficiency begins with a venous valve incompetence, and this incompetence leads to a retrograde blood flow. A retrograde blood flow then causes a venous hypertension that promotes a capillary leakage, and as interstitial fluid accumulates, edema develops. A chronic tissue hypoxia and inflammation result in skin changes and the development of an ulcer. An easy way to remember this sequence is poor return equals to pooling, pressure, and problems. The risk factors for venous insufficiency include being over 50 years of age, female gender, pregnancy, obesity, a sedentary lifestyle, a history of deep venous thrombosis, and a family history of varicose veins. These risks either impair the venous return or they increase the stress on the venous valves. The common symptoms in venous insufficiency include aching, heaviness, and fatigue in the legs, which are often worse with a prolonged standing, and they are relieved by elevation. On physical examination, you may find edema that typically worsens in the evening, the varicose veins, and skin hyperpigmentation due to hemosiderin deposition. Some features include lipodermatosclerosis, stasis dermatitis, and venous stasis ulcers. These venous stasis ulcers usually have uneven edges, a pink ulcer bed, and they are commonly located on the medial or the lateral malleolus. The diagnosis of venous insufficiency is primarily clinical and it's supported by imaging. An inspection and palpation are essential along with a detailed history. The gold standard for imaging is a duplex ultrasonography, which evaluates the valve functioning and the blood flow. This duplex ultrasonography as well detects a reflux and an obstruction in these veins. Other tests include a venography, which is rarely used, an ankle brachioindex or an ABI testing that is quite important in ruling out arterial diseases before initiating a compression therapy. The initial interventions aim to promote a venous return, and you need to instruct the patients to elevate their legs regularly above the level of the heart for 10 to 20 minutes several times a day. Compression stockings should be worn during the day and applied in the morning before getting out of bed. These patients should as well avoid a prolonged standing or sitting, they avoid tight clothing, and the leg crossing. An intermittent pneumatic compression system may be used if prescribed, and especially for those people with open fractures. Nursing care, in terms of wound management, involves the assessment of the patient's ability to manage the wound care at home and coordinating with the home care services if necessary. If an UNA boot is prescribed, it should be changed weekly by the healthcare provider or the nurse. The wound should be cleaned with a normal saline and avoid agents, for example iodine or hydrogen peroxide. These agents are known to cause degranulation or the damaging of the granulation tissue. The boot is then covered with an elastic wrapping that hardens to improve venous return, and you need to be sure to monitor for any arterial occlusion and avoid applying the tape directly to the skin. An occlusive dressing such as a polyethylene film or an hydrocolloid dressing may be used to cover the ulcer. Topical agents are usually used to debride the ulcers, remove the necrotic tissue, and promote healing. When using these topical debriders, you need to protect the surrounding skin with a petroleum jelly. Antibiotics are as well administered if an infection or cellulitis is present, And venoactive medications such as micronized purified flavonoid fraction or MPFF can be used to improve the venous tone. Diuretics are used for short-term relief of edema, but they are not recommended for long-term use. Pentoxifylline and aspirin can be used as an adjunct for healing ulcers. Intervention and surgical options for venous insufficiency include a sclerotherapy for varicose veins, endovenous ablation using radiofrequency or laser techniques, surgical vein stripping and ulcer debridement or skin grafting when indicated. Some of the complications that arise from venous insufficiency include the venous stasis ulcers, infections, for example cellulitis, superficial thrombophlebitis, chronic pain and disability, and a deep venous thrombosis if the condition progresses.